Yes, I look like I just got out of a prison facility.
Wait, did you hear what I just said?
No,
I said now you look like a skater boy.
I am. I'm a skater boy. That's
With
who I have become.
the baggy long sleeves.
I wish.
How is that going? How is the skating going?
Skating's all right. I still haven't ollied, which is upsetting, but I'm close. I think I'm just like scared to like really go for it. So I keep doing
Right.
like a very half-assed ollie. So like it's clear that I could have it. I just like am afraid, which doesn't make sense because I do have health insurance for 2 years. So like now is the time to be taking some risks. But there's part of me that like wants to get like elbow pads and knee pads and like wrist guards or whatever. That way, like I can just totally eat shit and be fine. But the other part of me, like every time I do something new, like when I did jujitsu, like I go all in for like a month or two and I'm like, this is who I am, fucking jujitsu or die. And I buy the rash guard and I like buy the hand wraps and everything. And then like I'm done. Like after a month, I'm like,
Right.
okay, I did it. So I'm scared that if I do buy knee pads and elbow pads and wrist whatever, like
hmm
after a month I'm just going to be over it and then it's
Right.
going to be
I
like
do
why
that.
did I buy all of that?
I
Yeah.
do that stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like very extreme. Like I'm all in or I'm all out. It's never just like everything I do is like to the extreme. Like I have such a hard time with like moderation and that is something I'm working on. That is why I don't drink anymore because like when I do something like it's all in or nothing.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
the
think
same
like
way.
yeah, I think it's important to be able to find the balance. Like I've been skating a little bit every day. I don't think I did the past 2 days or no, I did actually. Yeah, I've been skating like a little bit every day. So that's been nice just to like be out in the fresh air
Right.
doing something that's challenging.
You know what might happen though too? Is if you do decide to buy all that stuff and go all in, you
I'll
might
get
just
really good.
you might just finally hit that ollie
I
and then you'll feel
know.
accomplished and then you'll be like, now I'm done.
Yeah, that's also yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely is a possibility.
Because that's what I did when I was a kid.
Yeah. I
I was
think
able
like
to do an ollie and that was it.
and then you were like, I am Tony Hawk.
Exactly, yeah. And
I'm
then no,
pretty
actually, my brother was like more into skateboarding than I was, and
mhm.
we got like one of those like shitty like from Toys R Us like plastic half pipes in our backyard,
Oh boy.
and I tried to hit that one day and I fell super hard, and then I was done from that point on.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes I don't know if I talked about this last time or if it happened in between last podcast and now, but I was trying to do an ollie and I fell like twice super hard, just like in a parking lot on this concrete, just like bam, like
At Chuck E. Cheese.
and yeah, Chuck E. Cheese. And at the time, it didn't hurt. Like it just felt like, oh, I fell off my skateboard, like ouch, whatever, get back up. So I'm like, I fell, I get back up, and then I fall again, and then I get back up. The next day, I was like, okay, something's fucked up with my shoulder. Like I think I like had pulled it or like dislocated it or something. Like to be honest, it's like kind of bruised up here. But it's like fine. But at the time I was like, oh my God, like I'm broken. But I kept going out because I was like, I can't let this stop me.
hmm
You got to be bigger than the board.
I thought you have to be the board.
No, you don't want to be the board. You don't want to be the board. But it's been good, just it's fun watching all the boys skate with their shirts off and just
You
enjoy
know,
just enjoy
that's the main reason you're doing it.
kind of. No, I mean, no. I mean, well, it's not, but it's. Ever since I was little, I have always been obsessed with skater boys. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if it's their lack of ambition in other things outside of skateboarding. I don't know if it's their um, dirty hygiene habits. I don't know if it's their style. I don't know what it is, but I used to live across the street from the skate park. And So me and my friends would go over there. We're like in middle school, or maybe, yeah, I think like middle school, probably like 6th or 7th grade. And we just watch all the skateboarder boys and be like, hey guys. And there was like a name for like girls who hung out at the skate park, like something mean, like insulting, like board whores or something like that. And, I'll proudly admit that was who I was. I would try and be like funny and like charm them with my humor, but it just never worked. I don't think
Right.
I don't think that skater boys are interested in girls who linger at the skate park. Like,
Some of them
because
are.
but like I think because then it's like me being like, I'll take literally any of you, and the guys are like, oh, she just like, it doesn't matter who I am, whatever. But I think I've grown since then. I don't think I'm like I think I have a more well-rounded idea of my interests in romance,
Right. Right.
like like I can now appreciate like just being friends with these skater guys and not being like just completely horny for them.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously I would if they were interested, but they're not. So it makes it very easy for me to understand that that's not going to happen.
And to learn how to do an ollie.
Mhm. It's hard though, because all the guys I'm skating with are so good that like, I mean, it's helpful because they are so good, but at the same time, it's been such a long time since they first did an ollie that to them it's just like, you just
Second
do it.
nature.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
you just get on the board, like you just ollie. But when we go to the park, sometimes there'll be like, 9-year-old kids, some girls, some boys, and I'll just hang out with those kids because I'm like, we're at the same level right now. Like, I'm your friend, you're my friend. There was this little. I went to this skate park in Pasadena, and there was like 3 girls. They were probably like no older than 11, but like maybe I feel probably like 9, between 9 and 11, never forget. And they were so scared to just like go down the ramp, and I'm like, you just got to like, I was like, you can do it. Like, you see these guys, they started out where you are. You got to show them what's up. Like, just bend your knees, you can go down. One of the girls finally does it, but she's like so nervous and her knees aren't bent and she falls. And I'm like, that's what we do it for. You fall, you get back up. I was like Coach Carter for these little girls. And then I'm like going down the ramp all nervously. I'm like, shaking. It was so cute. It was so cute. But yeah, that's been fun. I don't know. The 4th of July was really fun.
Mhm.
Actually, it wasn't that. I mean, it was a balance.
Yeah,
It wasn't all fun.
because you're ants.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But the night of the 4th was really nice. It's like people have like Disneyland level
Fireworks.
explosives. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was insane. My friend brought over like hundreds of dollars worth of fireworks, and they were like insane. And no one was using them responsibly whatsoever. I got like shit in my eye. I thought I was gonna lose I was like, this is it. I'm gonna be eye patch Alley. Like, I'm just gonna be the girl with the eye patch, and I'm gonna have to tell the story of 4th of July. Every 4th of July, people will be like, oh, well, I know a girl who has an eye patch now. I thought I was gonna be like a legend. Luckily, it came out and I was fine, but they were just like throwing mortars on the ground and like all these crazy fireworks, and they were just blowing up everywhere. There was just like, what's that stuff called? A car, like a, I don't know, like
Ash.
ash. Yeah, but there's like a word that you would use more so in like war terms, like car, not car, I
Debris.
don't, yeah, but there's like a different like word for it that's more like whatever. I wish I like
I don't
knew
know.
more words. I know you don't know, and I didn't think you would. Also, I'm going back to blonde on the 16th.
Oh, good.
Oh, but okay, guys are psycho. I don't like that we always use the word crazy to describe women, and like when a girl does something like that's crazy, that's how we describe it, because we never use that to describe guys. But here's the thing, guys are just as crazy as women. Oh my gosh, I don't know. You know how I always talk about boys on this podcast, whether I went on a date or hooked up with someone or had a weird experience. I never say who the person is because that's not fair, you know? And I don't know, it's hard because a long time ago, I had hooked up with a comedian, and I'm trying to like do this as vague as possible so it's not like, I don't know. I had hooked up with a comedian, and then I like later heard him talking about me without saying my name on, a podcast or radio show or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that did feel weird. Like I think it did like hurt me. Like I remember telling my sister like, "Oh my god, he was talking about me." And it wasn't like he didn't say anything bad. It just felt weird to know that he was talking about something that had just happened, you know? And then I'm like realizing like I do the same thing on this podcast, you know? Like I talk about, I don't really hold back, but I feel like it's okay because I'm not saying anyone's name. And here's the thing, I was being nosy. Like I knew that guy was doing this show, and so I specifically listened because I was like, maybe he'll talk about me. And
And
then
then you
of
did.
course I get the thing that I expect to hear, and I'm like bummed about it or something. I don't even know how I felt. I think part of me was like, oh my gosh, like he's acknowledging me, like that's cool. This isn't Crystalia. Okay, I just want to make that very clear because I think people want that to be the case. It's not. But I think part of me thought that it was like cool, but then I was kind of like bummed just because of the like way that he was. I don't know what I felt, but it felt, something about it felt off. And then I'm like, but I didn't have to listen, and like it didn't, like he didn't say my name, and like no one knows that that's me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. So now I'm realizing I'm doing that, but at the same time I'm like, these dudes, like, I'm not telling them to listen to my podcast. No one knows who these people are. And I don't know. So anyway, this guy messages me this week on Instagram. He hit me up at like midnight or something. He was like, "Hey, hope you're doing well, something something." I'm like, "Yeah, hope you're doing well." He was like, "By the way," and now I feel weird that I'm like talking about this thinking that he's probably gonna like, he probably will continue to listen to this podcast because maybe he's expecting me to talk about this. And
And you
that's
are.
like, and I am.
Have we started, technically?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, this is
Okay.
the podcast. So let me pull it up because I don't know.
Can you say who the comic is, and then I'll just bleep it out?
No,
You don't even want
you can take 3 guesses, 2 guesses.
to, can I have like some hints?
No.
Not at all. Well, if it's someone on a radio show, they're at least, you know, not an open micer type level. Um, Eric Griffin.
No.
I'm just kidding. Does that count as one guess?
Depending on your second guess, it might.
I don't know. This feels weird. I don't want to start naming names and then like all of a sudden I'm wrong, or like
Who's the second name? Who's the second guess?
I don't know because I have a feeling I might know who it is.
Okay, say it, and then we'll bleep you out.
Is it?
Yeah, bitch.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Ah, shit. See,
you gotta bleep that out.
I know.
This
That's
better
what I'm
not be
saying.
Dad's phone number situation. Yeah, this was a while ago. This was a
I know
while ago.
you had told me. You had told me. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so now I feel like I'm doing the same thing, but at the same time, it's like, well, here's the thing. I don't even know if he's mad about it because this is the message. He said, "How are you?" This was at like 11:30 p.m. I said, "I'm pretty good. How are you?" He's like, "I'm good, all things considered." I'm like, "Yeah, it's weird. My mood fluctuates." He's like, "Yeah, that's probably true for all of us, isn't it? Loved your bit about me on your podcast. Winky face emoji, kissing face emoji, kissing face emoji."
When was this?
I have no. When was the message? On Monday?
Yeah. Oh, so he was talking about it recently.
Yeah, but like, I don't. Like, I must have talked about him on like an older episode.
You did.
You don't even know who this is.
I just asked you and you said yeah. Oh, is this a different person?
No, the guy who you have to bleep out is, oh my gosh, Anthony, you're not following. COVID got to your brain.
Dude,
No, the
sorry.
guy, the comic who I had slept with a long time ago, had talked about me vaguely on some sort of podcast or radio show or whatever.
Right.
But now with my podcast, I notice that I talk about guys that I go on dates or hook up with on the podcast, but I
Right.
don't say their name. And I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, because a guy who I had hooked up with, not the comic or anything, he messaged me the other day saying, like, "Oh, I heard your bit about me on the podcast." And I'm like, are you saying that in like a, like, are you saying that in like a way of like, like, I don't know. If it is upsetting him, it's like, well, then just tell me, like, "Hey, I don't like that you talked about me on the podcast," and then we could have a conversation. But if you're throwing this like passive shade about it, first of all, I'm sorry, but I don't remember what I said. See, now I'm like, why am I airing this out on a podcast when I could just talk to him about it? You know what? I'm going to leave it there. That's something I need to work on. And I'll hit him up after this podcast and I'll say, "Do you, yeah, I guess, I don't know." I'm like, "Do you want me to take it out? Like, no one knows it's you except for you. I don't think I said anything bad. Like, I feel like I don't really say bad stuff about people on here."
You made fun of the guy with the pull-out couch.
Okay, did I make fun of him or was I just stating facts? He had a pull-out couch. He lured me over to his house, which was his office. Those are just
Lured.
facts. Yes, he did. I said, "How many roommates do you have?" He said, "One." I said, "Okay, cool. I'll come over." Guess what? His roommate is also the guy who works at his office where he took me to. I wasn't planning on hooking up with someone at their office / home.
Right.
That's not mean. It's just literally what happened. Am I a bully? Am I a toxic woman?
Honestly, do you want me to tell you the truth? You're the problem.
Oh,
No, I'm
what
just
do you
kidding.
mean? Oh. I'm like, let's go. Let's get into it. Do you think I'm a mean person, Anthony? Honestly.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I think you're a really honest person, and I think that honestly, the world needs more of that shit because like there's no reason to beat around the bush. Do you know what I mean? Like I hate when people are just like,
But there's some people who use being like, "I'm just being honest," as
that's
like a way
different.
for them to be a bitch. They're
That's
like, "But
different,
this
yeah.
is just me speaking my truth. This is me being my authentic self, and my authentic self is a bitch. So sorry."
Those are the same chicks that say like if you can't handle me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best and
Yeah, and
shit.
it's like we don't want you at either right now.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you, Anthony. I think here's the thing. Sometimes I can be a bitch. Obviously. Sometimes I can say things that hurt people's feelings. In the moment, do I think that it's hurting someone's feelings? No. Obviously, if that guy who messaged me, if his feelings were hurt, that was not my intention. And like, I should be a big enough person to be like, "Look, I'm sorry." And like, maybe going forward, I won't talk about all that stuff. But I feel like this is like my diary. I don't know. It's hard. I think I'm a good person. I think I'm a good person. If you have a problem with me, fucking say it to my face with a mask on, 6 feet away, and we'll hash it out with megaphones. But I don't know. I think that I don't know, because now I'm like, he's probably gonna listen to this, and now I feel like I'm not helping the situation at all. But it was just a weird message to get because of the vagueness of it, where I'm like, are you being sarcastic? Do you want me to go back and take that part out? Like, did you want to talk about it so there's some like closure with what happened? I
Hmm.
don't even know what, I don't know. It's just weird, but I'm sure it's not. I think a lot of times we can like over spiral on things, like we have one thought like, oh, this person doesn't like me. And then we just run wild with that, where we start like creating all these reasons why someone might not like us, or whatever the thing is that is our initial thought. And it can just go
Hmm.
so far down that by the time you finally talk to that person, you're like, oh, it was just that one thing, and I've made it this huge thing that it really isn't, you know?
Hmm.
I think it comes from like a place of selfishness, or like not selfishness, it's almost just like a self-centered thinking, where we're so consumed with ourselves and how people perceive us and how we act, that a lot of times no one's really thinking that much about that. They're thinking about themselves in that way. And so here I am thinking all about myself in that situation. That guy's probably thinking about himself in that situation, when really we're both like cool with each other, or so I think. But in my head, I can turn it into he hates me. I should just stop doing the podcast. I'm a mean person. I betray everyone. You know, it's like when really that's not the case. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm last week I was about to start my period. I'm officially done with it. She has left the building. Um, she's gone, and I thank her for her time while she was here. It was short and sweet. It was like 4 days of just blood, and like, a heavy strain, but it's gone now. Um, which is nice, because that's just like another thing to think about. Here's what I wanted to talk about. I First of all, we didn't even get into it, but Anthony definitely has corona. He hasn't been tested yet. He's That's why we're doing it on Zoom, because I was supposed to go, this is going to be a big deal, because we were going to finally go back to Anthony's house to record it, with the original couch and the love pillow and the heart pillow and all the cuteness. And baby boy Anthony is not feeling well, and you can just see it on his face. It's COVID. There's no hiding that. And I got tested like 13 days ago, and dude, I find it so irresponsible. And I don't, I had to go to urgent care because, okay, don't cough so loud, sick boy. So I was nervous about it because I had been in Arizona where cases are spiking. So I'm like, and one of my friends who was also in Arizona tested positive. So I'm like, okay, I need to get tested. Like I feel fine, but I'm like, I should just be safe. And there were no free testings available in on the LA County website. So I just went to urgent care, and it took 13 days to get my results back. And here's the thing, I know a lot of people are getting it, but it just seems so unhelpful to have it take that long. Because what am I supposed to do? Like, 13 days goes by, I'm supposed to stay isolated for those 13 days, and then I find out I'm either positive for it, and then I have to stay in 14 more days. So there's one full week where I just don't do anything. Or it's like 14 days completely isolated. I get the results back. Turns out I'm negative, and I didn't even have to be in those 14 days.
Mm.
There's not a right way to look at this. Like, to me, it's just frustrating. And I know that it's like selfish, being like, oh, I have to stay in for a whole month. If that's the case, that's the case. It just sucks that these are the circumstances, whatever. But most of the testing comes back like 5 days, 7 days maximum. This was fucking 13. That's almost 2 weeks of not knowing. It came back negative. But after 2 weeks, because I wasn't isolating for those 2 weeks, because I was like, I probably don't have it. I was wearing a mask. So, like, I'm still going to go out, but I'll be, responsible.
Right.
But now I'm starting to feel all weird because I think there's a lot of different factors, but now I'm getting tested tomorrow and then I'll have the results hopefully the next day. So the day that the podcast comes out, hopefully I'll know if I'm positive or negative. I'm definitely posting it on my Instagram story if I'm negative. If I'm positive, I'm keeping that shit to myself and taking it to the grave with me. But did I make that joke already on here about how it would be so awkward to test positive and then have to hit up your friends that you were with being like, hey, so remember how much fun we had last week?
Yeah.
Okay, I already did that joke. Awesome. It's been killing in all the conversations I've been having, so I just thought I'd make sure. But yeah, I mean, hopefully I don't have it because this is what sucks. I don't know how to talk about this. My beautiful Aunt Maureen passed away on Friday, July 3rd, I think. Was that Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not from COVID, I don't think, but just unexpectedly, which is super scary, especially because she's like my blood aunt, it's my mom's sister. And so it's like scary to think like, you know, like, is this like a genetic thing, whatever. So now, and just like death is scary in general and it's sad and it's like now all of a sudden I'm like, before I go to bed, because she passed away in her sleep, luckily it wasn't like painful and um that's kind of the way that everyone wants to go. You don't want it to happen as soon as it happened for her. She was only 62 and like super healthy and just like the most beautiful person, like on the inside and out. But yeah, it's just like scary when something like that happens because it makes you realize like how fragile and like precious life is. And I know that people always say that after someone dies, like, don't take anything for granted. But it's true. Like it's just so easy to just be like, I'm going to wake up tomorrow. Like that's just what I do. I've done it for the past 24 years. Every night I go to sleep, every morning I wake up. That's what happens every single time. I've been doing it. I'm a pro at staying alive so far.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone close to you passes away unexpectedly, it starts to make you think like, oh my, like that could happen to me. Like, no one is more special or more deserving. It's like, after someone dies, everyone goes like, she didn't deserve this. And it's like, none of us deserve that. Like, we think we're invincible. And I mean, at least I do, especially with the corona stuff. Not everyone, but, I definitely am like, I'm invincible. I'm going to live forever and, whatever. But it's true. Like, we have no control over how long we live or whatever. So I don't know. It was really hard. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
sorry to
know
hear about
what
that.
to. Yeah, I don't really know what to
Sucks.
say about it. Yeah, it does. It does suck, but it's also like it's hard because I say like no one deserves it, but then you're like, well, the people who killed Breonna Taylor, not that I think that they deserve to die, but it's like, it would have been easier to accept that loss. Or
Right.
there's like gross, fucking child molesters and rapists. It's like, why can't those guys just die? And it's like, no, people, I don't know. It's just complicated because I don't know. I just want to like take a quick moment to talk about how amazing my Aunt Maureen was because she really was like I don't know if you have any family members that you're like so proud of. Like my Aunt Maureen and Uncle Mike were like the people who you know, if I was showing pictures to my friends, I'd like brag about them. I'd be like, look at how beautiful they are. They've been like, you know, together since high school. My Aunt Maureen won like Miss San Pedro. She was like, you know, the number one. Like, she was just so beautiful. And like, not only on the outside, because she was like gorgeous, but also like so beautiful on the inside. Like, just the most caring, loving, compassionate person. Like, everyone that she met was like always welcome to her home. You know, it was like there was no one who was a stranger to her, because everyone felt like they were closer to her after meeting. Like, she was just the best. Like, it's just undeniable. She was the best. And I was telling my uncle and cousins, I'm like, I just feel so lucky that I even like got to have her as an aunt, you know? Like, so many people were so fortunate and lucky to have been friends with her. But I just feel like so grateful to like be blood relatives to her. Like, I just find it so special. And
Mm-hmm.
it's, you know, it's hard to talk about, but um I don't really want to cry on the pod, so I'm just going to take a breath and take a sip of water. But she was great, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
even though it is really difficult, like, I don't know if you felt this with your brother, like, when something like this happens, like, it's really hard, you know? It's undeniably hard, especially with COVID. And, like, I'm supposed to be going over there today, but, like, I'm stressed about getting it or having it or spreading it or whatever. So it's like, you know, how can I show up and be able to, like, mourn with my family, but also stay safe? So I think I'm just going to hang out in the backyard, wear my mask the whole time. You know, I'm definitely going to hug them, but I think I'm going to try and limit it to one hug per visit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but, uh, you know, it's hard, but I think at the same time, like, just trying to look at the positives to it, because my Aunt Maureen was so positive about everything. And like, you know, I'd like to try and carry some of that with me now, is like, it really has like brought us all closer. And like, it really makes you so much more appreciative of the family that you have, because you realize like it really isn't guaranteed. And like, it
Mm-hmm.
sucks that it takes this sometimes to have that, but I think overall, like, um you know, we get to all share this together and like be there for each other in a way that we haven't had to be before. You know, because when my grandma died, when my aunt and my mom's mom died, she was like 94. So it's like, as much as you are mourning and you're sad, you've had 94 years
Right. Yeah.
to prepare for that. And you've had the last, you know, 5 or 10 years of her life kind of not waiting for it, but knowing that it
It
can
was
happen.
expected. Right.
But when someone dies unexpectedly and who's so seemingly healthy and whatever, and that just, it's hard, you know? And I think and I think a lot of people are like dealing with like a lot of grief and loss right now. Like, even if you haven't had a family member or someone close to you pass away, I just think like seeing everything that's happening in the news and on Instagram, it is like, you know, we are grieving, and there is like a lot of this fear and anxiety, and that really plays into health. Like, I know a lot of people are like, you know, going through a really hard time right now just due to having a hard time coping with like the state of the world. And like, that's causing physical ailments, like, you know, like emotional, like when we hold on to these like emotional problems, it like becomes physical, you know, and it manifests itself into like, you know, sickness. And so I think it's just important to give yourself a break from like the news and Instagram, and like make sure you get to go outside and like enjoy the little things and just see. Gratitude lists are really helpful when you wake up, writing like 5 things that you're grateful for, you
Mhm.
know, like, it sounds corny, but it's like sometimes it's just these little small things that can help us. And I know that this isn't like a hilarious episode, but I just know that a lot of people are going through it and like and are feeling lonely and sad and scared and confused, and like we're going to get through it. Like it's not going to feel comfortable, but there is going to come a time when my roommates are home. Hi Tati. I'm recording my podcast. No, you're good. It feels like whenever I'm recording my podcast at home and my roommates are here, it feels like I'm doing like a school presentation where it feels like everyone's like listening intently, but like really no one cares.
Right.
But anyway, I think you guys understand what I'm saying. I think we're all having this like collectively shared experience of like weird feelings, no matter your opinions on whatever, you know, like we all, I think, are sharing this experience. And even though it's hard, like we do have each other. So just like find the people that you can reach out to, and like don't be afraid to ask for help, because it is hard to do. And I think we don't do it enough, but I know that people are more than happy to help. And don't just expect people to reach out, because no one's a mind reader, you know? So it's hard to make that first step in asking for help, but it's important. Anyway, that's enough about that. Any thoughts, Anthony?
About COVID and about death?
Just, yeah, anything that I said.
Yeah, with your aunt and stuff, it's like always hard at first. Like when I lost my brother and stuff, it was hard.
Is this karma for talking about your brother last week?
Your aunt dying?
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, it's karma.
But
No,
that's like that's like, it's so funny when someone dies, how easy it is to become like so self-centered, where you're like trying to think of like,
you're like, what did I do?
yeah. I think it's just the way for the brain to like distract itself in a way, or like feel a
Right.
connection to something that's gone, or like, you know, whatever. I haven't been thinking that way, but I just thought it would be kind of funny to say.
No, it's good to focus on like the positives, like you were saying, like how people get closer, family members will get closer, people who you haven't talked to in a while will like show back up, and then now as life goes on, you'll start to realize like, yeah, not everyone will be here forever. Like that's a big reason why I like go visit my mom a lot. That's not because, you know, I think she's gonna like die just randomly, but you never know. I mean, car accidents can happen, you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like, was she the first person besides your grandma that was like really close in your family that's passed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was weird because like I remember being really little and my grandpa dying. Like both of my grandpas died when I was really little, but like I didn't understand the concept of death. Like I thought that when you die, you just like go into the sewage system. I think I talked about this one here before. And I would literally, every time I went to the bathroom, I would look in the toilet because I was scared that one of my grandpas would like come out of the sewer, which I found out is in the Spice Girls movie. And I blame the Spice Girls for that fear of mine, because the creepy, evil old guy who's bald. Why is everyone who's a villain bald? I think that that's mistreatment of bald men, and they need more positive representation. All they have is Pitbull on their side, and that's not fair. Anyway, so I guess in the Spice Girls movie, there's an evil old beautiful bald man, I should say, who comes out of the toilet and haunts the Spice Girls. And that probably was where I got it from. And I don't think that's healthy. Because, yeah, when I was little, after my grandpa's died, I was like, they're going to haunt me in the toilets. And I also thought when I was little that when someone died, it was because they were murdered. Like, I didn't understand that people could just, like, pass away. And so I always was like, oh, my God, like, I wonder what my grandpa did.
Like, I wonder who killed him.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely different being an adult and understanding and, you know, whatever.
Well, I'm glad you finally got to that point.
Yeah.
You can understand.
Yes.
The life cycle.
It took me a while to get there. That's going to be my dying wish, Just put me in someone's toilet so I can just scare the shit out of them, literally. Could you imagine? One time, I
No,
talked
I
about this
can't.
before. One time I had a dead rodent in my toilet, like 2 Thanksgivings ago.
Jesus.
And I
Like a
thought,
rat?
no, I think it was a mouse. And now that I speak about it, my roommate is hearing mice in the walls.
At your house?
Yes, everything's falling apart around me, Anthony.
Oh. That's
I mean,
not
I'll be
good.
fine. I mean, it's not good, but I'd rather have them in the walls than in my fucking bedroom, in my bed.
Just wait till they come out.
To the windows, to the walls, to the mice crawl in my halls.
I went down a super deep rabbit hole with that Blame It on George
Oh,
YouTube
yeah.
thing. I was
Yeah.
watching some crazy shit, and then like
I
in
think
one of
it's
the
blame it on
videos,
I just wanna correct you. I believe it is blame it on Jorge because it's spelled with a J.
I know, but here's the thing. My middle name is Jorge.
Well, then why don't you embrace the Latin
So
side of you?
so but in the
Why are you
video,
repressing yourself,
but
Anthony?
in one of his
Anthony, we got to
videos,
break down this situation.
in one of his videos though, he literally was like he like said it or something. He said the name of his like channel and he said George.
You know what?
And
It's
then
probably because he feels pressure by
whites.
whites. And maybe that's something that the both of you can look into. Maybe you can have a conversation with him and say, hey, do we have internalized racism
Guilt.
towards ourselves and guilt? And do we want to assimilate to white culture so we aren't ashamed and so we feel accepted? When really we should be empowered and embrace the Jorge in our names.
Embrace the horror.
And that's just a white woman explaining to you what to do. And that's what I do best.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Jorge. Anthony Jorge.
But in that video I sent you, there was something about the
You think I
UPS.
watched the video? Hell no.
I mean, you watched the other one,
Yeah, but
but there was something about
But then
UPS
my
in
aunt
there.
died and I didn't have time to watch any more of your videos.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
I'm just kidding.
There was something about UPS in there, like being like doing some weird shit.
What
And
kind of weird shit?
it was like I forgot. It was something about like the government was trying to cover up like copyright stuff or something. I don't remember because I've literally watched 20 of those videos
They're kind
since
of
then.
bad. They're good, but they're kind of bad.
In what way?
I just feel like he kind of misses out on certain things. Like he's getting there. It's one of those things that takes time, but I mean, I've only seen one of his videos and the video I watched, it was good, but at the same time I didn't feel like it's good enough for me to be able to share with people and use as like good information. It still feels very much like just speculation more so than factual.
I can
I
see
mean,
that,
but
yeah.
that's like any type of conspiracy video where it's like, okay.
Right. What else did you do this week?
Um, Let me think. Let me see. I don't think I did much this week. I did the 4th of July stuff. Um, Let me see. What did I do? I don't put it in my for some reason I always check my calendars if I like write down what I did in my calendar, but oh my god, I did my ex-boyfriend's podcast. It was a nightmare. I forgot that I like said I was going to do it and I was at my friend's house, so I had to do it from her house, and then like I also just had like nothing really to talk about, so it was kind of a disaster. But I did that. Oh, I took photos. My friend Prem takes amazing pictures, so he took some film pictures of me looking like a little cutie patootie. So I should be getting those soon. So when you see some hot pics of me, just know I'm that bitch. Yeah, it was chill. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing crazy. Oh, you know what? So he was taking pictures of me, and we went to the LA River, which is just like a huge ditch. And there
Hmm.
was a guy there with a drone, but I wanted to change outfits, but his drone kept flying over. So if someone happens to see footage of me changing in the LA River, um, at least the pictures came out good. Um, Pretend that I was 17 when that drone footage comes out, and you're canceled, so don't look at it. What else did I do? Not much,
Did you see that Jezebel girl or whatever her name
Is
is?
it Jizzling?
Yeah,
Jizzlane?
whatever. Yeah, Jiz.
Jizz?
She's
Jizzlane?
she's like in custody and she's like gonna rat out some people or something.
Yeah, I saw that. Good. Rat those mother effers out. All those nasty. Here's the thing, though. So they're like big socialites, classic sex traffickers, just trying to mingle.
Hmm.
And of course, there are a lot of wealthy, successful people who we know about from movie, TVs, whatever. There's obviously a lot of famous people who are involved. But I don't like that they're just calling out everyone who's been in a picture with them. You know what
Right?
I mean? It's
Like
like,
Trump.
yeah, I'm like, I bet there's pictures of me with people who've done like some shady shit that I have no idea about. Like,
Right.
well, Trump, no. I mean, I like, I feel like sometimes I'm sure some people don't think this, but like sometimes I'll like teeter totter because I'm like, whatever you think is your opinion. Trump's a nasty mother effer, okay? Yeah, there's pictures of him with her. Do I think that he was involved? Probably.
Yeah.
He's nasty. He's nasty. There's proof of it. There's lawsuits against him in nasty cases with him and minors. And yeah, 100% he is a perv. Same with Biden. Biden's a nasty mother effer. Kanye hasn't been accused of any nasty stuff, but I don't think he should be president. I think that's
Mm-mm.
ridiculous. And that's what bothers me about Trump is that now anyone with any sort of platform and following can just become president with zero experience. I think all politicians are corrupt. Everyone who wants to run for president is a delusional psychopath. And we need to burn down all public officials. Yeah,
You
I
just want to
think
be Amish or something?
I don't want to be Amish. I want to be a bad bitch with, actual liberty and justice. I mean, I
For
know
everybody.
nothing, so don't be like, oh, you're wrong. Of course I'm wrong. I know nothing. No one knows, anyone who's like, I actually read the statistics and know all of this stuff. Statistics oftentimes are wrong because they're taken from small samples. It's not accurate because there's so many different like circumstances. No one knows anything, okay? Why can't we all just want each other to do well and support each other and not have systems hold anyone back and blah 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 blah. Everything's fucked, but we're gonna get through it, okay? Here's what I wanted to do. Okay? I think there's so much negativity and people hating on each other and bringing people down, and it's not good for anyone. It doesn't feel good for the people who have to bring people down. It doesn't feel good for the people being brought down. We need to share more light, more love, more joy with people because this is a hard time. Even before this, life wasn't always easy for everyone. Everyone's going through something. It's hard. And I think if we try and share more positivity with people and just be like nicer in general, like I just think it would go a very long way if we could just do small things to help each other and be more supportive. You see someone at the grocery store struggling with their groceries, offer them help. Like little things that we don't think we should do or we're scared to be helpful. It's like we got to get over that and just like help people out and raise each other up. And that's something that I'm going to be working on, because it feels good when people are able to help you. And so why not return the favor however we can?
Right.
Speaking of, do you have something to say? I felt like you were about to drop something.
Mm-mm. No, I wasn't. Just listening. I think you should run for president.
That would be awful. I would know nothing. I would burn this place to the ground. I'd be like, you know what? Everyone do their own thing, which I honestly think would be the best. I wish also that, voting was, if we're going to do a whole voting political system, whatever, I wish that it was mandatory, like how they do in New Zealand, like you have to vote or you get a fine or something. I think that that's how it works. See, I know nothing, and I'm happy to admit that. I know nothing. We should all be mandated to vote if that's the system that we're using, and I think it should be popular vote, not based on this fucking gerrymandering bullshit, whatever it is. That's what it's called, right? Gerrymandering, where they like, yeah. Why? It makes no sense. Who cares where the fuck you live, where the fuck you are? If we're all a United States, we should all be united in a vote where it's the most popular. Like that,
Right.
whatever. It just doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. Okay. But I put on my Instagram story, I said, what's your favorite thing that happened this week? And I think I want to do this every week. I want people to tell me cool things that have happened this week, because it makes me happy to know that good things are happening to people. So, let's get this going. I'm just gonna do this. Okay. Someone said they saw a chipmunk for the first time in their life. How do you
in real life, or
in real life they saw a chipmunk in real life?
Huh.
But what's a chipmunk? Because now that I think about it, have I ever seen? How do you know the difference between a chipmunk and a squirrel?
Do we even have chipmunks here? I don't
Do
think
we
we
have
do.
chipmunks? No, I think we talked to her on the podcast. She was that cute girl who I randomly
Oh, right.
FaceTimed on Instagram, and she was working out and she was all sweaty and she was so sweet. But I think she just lives on the East Coast. But how would you know the difference between a chipmunk and a squirrel? Maybe
I
I've
have
seen.
no idea.
That's exciting though. That's fun
Yeah.
to see a cute little fuzzy creature. Someone say they learned the difference between a Chipotle bowl and a salad, which doesn't seem like there's a big difference, but there is, and I'm happy for them on making that discovery. I do not trust, I know it was just one or two times that they got some E. coli, but I do not trust the lettuce at Chipotle, so I will forever stick to Chipotle bowls. I also think Chipotle is overrated. And I wanted to take back something that I said earlier. I think it was last week's episode or the episode before, where I was talking about Jeff Bezos, and I was talking about how everyone hates him, and I don't think it's fair, because if you make that much money, who's to tell you how to use it? And here's the thing. No one should have that much money. I take it back. Fuck Jeff Bezos. Fuck all these billionaires. I'm radical Ally now. I'm not dancing around anymore, okay? I've been liberated. I've been woken up. Awoken. I've been awake now for the past week. And here's the thing. No one should have that much money. It's disgusting. So I am anti-Chipotle now. I will still be shopping at Target and Ralph's. But, it's a process. I'll get there. But I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, especially in LA, there's so many fucking good like taco spots, and like I'm sure that there's so many families who want to start like a business, like a Mexican food restaurant or something. Anyone could do their own version of a Chipotle bowl or a Chipotle. Like, why do we need so many corporate chain Chipotles, TGI Fridays, Applebee's? Kill them all, burn them down. Anyone. My dad could start his own Applebee's. Give opportunities to people. Like, I don't know if that even is how the world works or makes sense, but I was just driving by, like, I think I was on like Sunset Boulevard or something, and I saw like 5 Chipotles on my way home. And I'm like, there could be a family you know, who wants to start a restaurant, take Chipotle. I don't need the same bowl everywhere I go. That's what makes life so exciting. Having a new little flavor, you know, having a new spin on something that's already been done, and give chances to people who don't have that chance.
Right.
Ugh, that's where I'm at this week. Maybe next week I'll say, guess who's my guest? Jeff Bezos. But it is disgusting to have that much money. And I know that this is like a full 180 from what I said last week, but like now I just kind of see it a little bit better. That much money is psychotic to have, and to have that much money and not give it away to the fucking people in Yemen who are dying from not having, send them Chipotle, bring Chipotle over to fucking Yemen.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, bring it over. It's too much money. Too much money. Spend it in fucking corona research, cancer research. Why do you have that much money? Why do you have that much money? Speaking of, my card got declined last week. I think I talked about it on the pod. We're all good. But thank you to Patreon for helping me and for helping Anthony and Tom, two people who helped me out, who have both tested positive for corona in the past month. Well, Anthony hasn't gotten tested, but for sure you're going to have it. Like, there's no way you don't have it.
I don't feel too great right now, to be honest.
I know, you really don't look good either.
Thank you.
Not in a mean way. Like, you can just, like, you know, when you see someone and you're like, oh, you're ill.
Right.
But you don't feel good, but in the way that you wouldn't feel good. Like, how do you feel? Tell us how you feel. Your body aches, you were saying?
Yeah, my legs hurt for some reason, which is really weird.
Like, what kind of hurt? Like sore?
Like achy.
Like workout hurt?
Yeah. But I didn't work out, so I don't know. I don't know what it is. And then like my throat is really sore. And then like while I've been sitting here,
what kind of sore?
I probably
like dry and scratchy, or like drippy, or
like dry and scratchy? Yeah. When I woke up, I had to like blow my nose a bunch, which I normally don't ever have to do. And then I don't know. I just don't feel right. Like I'm having a hard time like focusing. I can breathe all right. That was the thing that would scare me. Is if like I couldn't breathe right, you know? That freaked me out.
Yeah, see, my chest feels kind of tight right now, and I know that I'm continuing to drool even though I shouldn't, but you know, whatever.
Right.
My chest feels tight, and I don't know if it's from drooling a bunch, which I already do and don't have chest issues from it, or if it's from like grief and loss and anxiety, or if it's from potentially COVID. But I got I already talked about this. I got my test back from like 2 weeks ago and I'm fine. But in those past 2 weeks, it could be sketchy. So,
right.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you get better soon.
Thanks.
And I'm sure that you will.
Yeah. I mean, how funny would it be if I don't even have it?
I know. You're just like
being sick. A bitch for some reason.
I mean, if you don't have it, you still are sick. So it's not you being a bitch. Like you clearly are ill.
Right.
Okay, this one confused me. So this was also in response to my question of what happened. What was even the question? What's your favorite thing that happened this week? Someone said this. I don't know if I believe them. They said, legit got circumcised this week at the age of 20. Hopefully I get laid more now. Here's the thing. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think anyone gets laid based on whether they're circumcised or not, because normally you don't find out until you're already
in the process
of getting laid. So if that's why you got it, I'm sorry you had to go through that pain. I think what you need to get circumcised is your personality. Because normally that's how you get laid, is based on who you are on the outside. And like how you can like connect with someone.
You mean on the inside?
Yeah, that's what I meant. But I was hoping I could just pass by it.
Your dick's on the outside, so
I know, but
if that was.
But your dick's not on the outside, because you hopefully when you're meeting potential suitors, you're wearing clothes initially. So technically, it's on the inside of your pants or jorts or cargo shorts.
Is there any more questions?
There's so many. Someone said, I found out the woman who gave me the best BJ is now gay, and I don't know how to feel about life. I think you should feel grateful that you had that experience with her before she, went to the dark
Switched.
side. Before she went to the dark side of girl on girl. And I do call it the dark side because I don't know. It just came to me first. Yeah, I don't think it matters. I think if I found out someone that I used to hook up with was gay, I'd be like, that makes sense. I can be kind of masculine in some ways, and I'm glad that you found your truth and your light to make that transition. Oh, and now you know the perfect person for a threesome if that's what she and you want. That's your gateway for that experience if you guys both want that to happen. So look at it that way. Two people said that they had clarifying messages and like had a lot of clarity. That's very woo-woo, but I'm happy that you were able to have some clarity. I have had zero clarity. I keep having dreams that I'm pregnant. I think it's because I've been watching this show on Netflix called Lenox Hill. It's about this hospital in Greenwich Village in New York, and it used to be like really small and understaffed, and they're expanding now and what it's like, and they focus on like 4 different doctors there. One's like an ER doctor, one is a neurosurgeon, the other one's also like some sort of surgeon that's crazy like that, and then the other is an OBGYN doctor. And you get to like actually watch like real life people come into the hospital and get like these crazy surgeries and whatever. And one of the girls was giving birth, and you like watch her have a C-section, and it's crazy. So now I've been having dreams that I'm pregnant.
Makes sense.
Should I get pregnant? I'm still thinking about it.
For sure.
I kind of want to. It would be such a flex to like have a baby before my sisters get married. I would have to do it really quick though, because I'm pretty sure my sister's wedding is going to be in August. So that's like a month and a half away. So maybe I can just like adopt really quick.
Just go adopt a kid and just bring it over.
Yeah. Be like, guys, this is mine. Someone said their puppy has bad PTSD. And after 3 years of working with her, we made huge progress this week. How that stuff confuses me. Like dogs having PTSD and like
Anxiety.
how much do you give in to a dog having like, I mean, I don't have a dog, so I don't know what that's like, but at what point do you say
You're a dog.
Sparky just has PTSD and like that's just Sparky's life? Like how much money do you invest in like therapy and treatment? Like I'm happy that her dog was made progress and this week was like better for her than past years of 4th of July, I'm guessing, but like how do you know? That's just the weird thing, is because dogs can't talk. So how do you know that it's PTSD and not just them being like a scared dog? Like how do you know that? Like I don't know, it's just whatever.
The PTSD is from fireworks?
I would imagine that heightens the dog's PTSD.
Right.
I don't know about dog PTSD. How do you study?
If a dog has PTSD, it would probably have to be from like a shitty owner, previous owner, like beating the shit out of it or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Someone says they have a sweet rat tail. That's sick. I want to get a rat tail. I also want to do a mullet, but I need to look presentable for my sister's wedding. So I'm going to go back to blonde. See, that's like my root coming in. This is my, not natural hair because she colored all of my hair, but like, this is like my root. My natural, not really, but like, this is like my hair. And then this is all the stuff that's been bleached.
Your hair grows so fast.
It grows so fast. So I'm going to keep this part kind of dark, but like more of a brown, like a light brown, and then go blonde. I miss being blonde. I'm not meant for any in between colors. I think it'd have to either be like black or blonde. Like I can't have this in between stuff.
Right.
Okay, that's pretty much it for the stuff of like good things that happened. I mean, there's a lot, but it's kind of just stuff that's more like cute to read to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get going kind of soon, but I'm gonna see.
We're over an hour, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I think that that's great for this week.
Okay.
And Anthony, I'm so sorry that you got the Rona, maybe allegedly.
Thanks. I did feel like I don't, you know, the feeling of like when you have to throw up, how it's like in your like chest, you know?
Yeah.
I feel that a little bit right. Like I feel queasy.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Like I feel like I need to just lay down.
Yeah, you definitely do. And drink water, not fucking balls
I
energy.
thought, yeah, that didn't help.
No.
That didn't
Drink
help
a
at
lot of
all.
water. Take it easy on yourself. We'll see you next week. Maybe through Zoom again. Probably through Zoom again, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Uh, what else did I want to say? I hope everyone is getting by. I hope, I don't know, like, I don't know. I just want you guys to let yourself take a break from everything happening. Enjoy yourself. Go on some sort of small adventure this week for yourself if that's what you need. Reach out to loved ones. And yeah, I just want to dedicate this episode to my beautiful Aunt Maureen, who I'm gonna miss so much and who was such a big supporter of mine. And that's it.